It's your girl, Mia's Coins. Wake up, y'all. Wake up. Let's get into this Monday. How we doing? How we doing? Wait for y'all to get up in here. Get up in here. Let's enjoy our Monday morning. Get us some little coffee. I got my Rise coffee. Get some coffee in us. Let's have a conversation. Mm-hmm. Let's have let's have us a conversation this morning. So I can tell y'all all about my weekend. I'm gonna give y'all some weekend tea. I'm gonna give y'all the tea for the weekend. Cause then nothing happened at work. So let's talk about my weekend. Yep, let's do it. But I'm gonna wait for y'all to get up in here. Down in the country. Good morning, Siren. How you doing, baby girl? Good morning, good morning, good morning. How you doing? I was up until, well, I'm gonna say I was up off and on until 1 o'clock this morning. Then I finally just went to sleep, and my alarm went off at 5:15. I was like, for real? I'm a little tired, but not too tired. I could feel it. I'm here listening. All right. Thank you, Siren. What's up, Canes, Coins? You put a dolphin inside all them pandas? I like dolphins too, though. I do. I saw on like they send you different excursions you can do when you go on cruises. They said we could go swimming with the dolphins for $149 per person. I said no. But I want to see some dolphins, but I don't want to go swimming with them. I'm gonna leave them wild animals to themselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm let them be. You know, they not bothering me, so I'm not gonna bother them. I'm just gonna let them be. I'm gonna let them animals be. Yeah, I'm be all right. I'm gonna let them be. And then they have a excursion where you could go to the glass bottom boat. Now I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother took us to Catalina Island, and we went on a glass bottom boat. And I remember it was going around, and they was telling us the different fish in the water and stuff. And then this fish swam up under the boat that was bigger than the boat. And I said, Nanny, that fish was bigger than this boat. She said, I know. I said, well, I want to get off this boat and get back on the land because that fish was bigger than this little boat we own. She started busting up laughing. She said, yeah, but the fish is not going to bother you, Mia. Just relax. And I was like, no, Grandma, that fish was bigger than this boat. I want to get off this boat. Hello, Flex 10 pack 159. Hi. Ted, hello, the most beautiful lady in the world. Ted, you just want a hug and a kiss. Thank you, Ted. But yeah, that glass bottom boat, I want to do it again because I was scared when I was little when my grandma took me to Catalina. I don't think I would be as scared now because I know how to fight a fish. I know how to gut a fish if it's messing with me. But I'm not going to be messing with no sharks. I don't want to mess with no sharks. Not the sharks. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what kind of fish it was that swam up under that boat. And I'm telling you, the girth of that fish, the width of that fish was bigger than that boat. And I was like, no, I don't want to do this. My grandma was laughing at me so hard. I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go back to the land. I don't want to do this. She said, well, I can't make the boat turn around, man. And I was like, why not? Why come not? More fire. Maybe I'll forget you. Maybe you should try. We never been there before. It's only your first time. What are you talking about? So it gave you the feeling that the boat would flip. It gave me the feeling that he could like ram the bottom of the boat, yeah, and just eat us all. That's what I felt, Lola. I felt like he could just ram the boat and bust through it and just eat us all. Because, you know, back then when I was a kid, that's Jaws had came out back then. So Jaws was bigger than life inside of my brain. But I was like, oh, that's just a movie. And until I actually saw how big that fish was that swam right up under the boat. I wasn't too good with that. I wasn't too good with that one. Hi, Jaime. That's put all together, but I think it says, hi, over here. Are you from Carlo? No, I'm from California. California knows how to party. California knows how to party. But yeah, no, I'm from Cali. I am from California. But I want to get into this weekend tea I got for y'all. I mean, I don't have nothing I got for y'all from work. But as far as my weekend, I got so much cheese made. Y'all want to hear this. I've had a very long, I'm not going to say too exhausting, but it was an exhausting weekend until like this morning. Like I just felt like there was a lot. There was a lot that went on in my life this weekend. Just a lot, like a lot. Just a lot. Oh, love. Hi, love from Carl. Okay. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. California native, but now in Jersey. I know that's right, Miss Lola. I know. Let's stick it all together. I'll be all right. So let me tell y'all what happened. First of all, Friday night. Went to sleep, you know, usual, you know, no big deal, you know. Went to sleep. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I thought a airplane was crashing through my home. That's how loud this was. So James built me these shelves in my bathroom because, you know, I got a lot of stuff. I like having my stuff. So I have to have my towels on the shelf. I got to have my toilet paper on the shelf. And then I have like all my hair products and lotions and creams on the shelf. And then on the other shelf, there's more, like my cleaning products on that shelf. And on the bottom shelf, it has like my Q-tips, my face mask. I just have stuff, S-T-U-F-F, on my shelves, right? Why did one arm of the shelf give away? And when I tell you came crashing down, what is that? I jumped up. And I was like, oh no. And James jumped up. He was like, oh, I thought it was your closet. He thought my closet had fell apart because it has done that in the past. But no, this time it wasn't the closet because, you know, I have so many shoes and it did that before. It may snatch the rack off the wall because of the shoes, the heavy the shoes were. So this time it was all my stuff in the bathroom. I was like, no. I was like, babe, what happened? He was like, I don't know. Hopefully y'all saw the video so y'all can kind of correlate with what I'm talking about. So everything just spilled on the floor. Now, when it fell, it scared the pee out of me. So naturally, I had to go pee. The way our bathroom is set up, everything fell, like the bathroom door was open. So everything fell in front of the bathroom door. The toilet is behind the door. So you have to go in, close the door, and then there's the toilet. So I couldn't get to the toilet. So I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And all this stuff is on the floor. I said, I gotta go to the bathroom. And so we tried to pulling all this stuff into the hallway so we can get into the bathroom so I can use the bathroom. Y'all, I'm telling you, I was throwing stuff in the bathtub, throwing stuff in the hallway. I was like, oh my God, no. Like at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm dealing with this on a Friday night. I was like, I said, I'm so glad I didn't tell my mom I was coming over on Saturday. I said, Mom, I'm not 100% sure. I said, if it rains, I'm not going to come. I said, so And it did rain on Saturday. But instead of James saying, okay, I'm going to fix it in the morning, he starts trying to fix it Friday night Saturday morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. So he goes to the garage, he brings back these different pieces of wood, and he was like, we didn't get it in the 2x4 on this side. We just put it through the drywall. And I said, oh. And so he started tapping the wall to see if there was another piece of wood in the wall. And he's like, I don't think there's any more wood back here. And I was like, wait, let me see. And I started tapping. I was like, no, there's a 2x4 right here. He was like, he did it again. He's like, no, I don't hear anything. I said, babe, there's a 2x4 right here. He said, no, I don't hear anything. I said, okay. I mean, he the man, not me, right? He the man. How funny. You took a picture of your closet? Yeah. So this man goes outside and get this small, I guess it's a drywall saw, I don't know. He comes back in the house and he's cutting my wall. So he cut this, I'm going to say it was a 2 foot by 2 foot wall, piece of drywall out my wall. And when he took it off the wall, I'm standing there, I'm watching the whole thing, y'all. When he took it off the wall, he said, I guess there was a 2x4 back there. When I tell y'all he don't listen to me, when I tell y'all, yeah, I know it's a big chunk. When I tell y'all he don't listen to me, he don't listen. He don't listen to me. He hear me, but he don't listen. Because I told him there was a... But anyway, where that 2x4 was, we couldn't put that shelving rack right there because it would have been off balance. So if I would have put stuff on the shelf, it would have still flipped over because it was off balance. So he was like, well, I can't use that one. I'm going to have to put another one in the wall right here. I said, okay, James. Y'all just like, okay, James. So he went out there, he came back, and he had a piece of wood, and he measured it. So the distance between the bottom and the top was 40 inches. But now when he measured that 40 inches, he measured all the way up to the piece of wood that was still up under there behind the drywall. From where he cut, there was like maybe about 4 inches behind the drywall that he measured up. When I tell y'all, he was like, oh, first he had a little piece of wood, and he said it's not quite long enough. I said, well, if you have like maybe a piece of wood, like a little piece, you could like put it at the bottom and then put the 2x4 in there and raise it up so it'll match up. So he goes back outside. He comes back with these 2 big pieces of wood. I said, I don't think those are going to work. So he put one of them in there. He was like, no, it's too long. I said, okay. So he's like, I'm tired now. I mean, we were going at it for like an hour. When I tell y'all we was going at it for like an hour. So he's like, I'm tired. I'll deal with this in the morning. I said, okay. Because that's what I thought he was going to do anyway. But he wanted to start it and do this. So he went to sleep about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm up. I'm on Snapchat, sending out Snapchats and stuff because I was up. So the next morning, I get a Snapchat from him. What was my sister doing up at 3 o'clock in the morning sending out these Snapchats? Y'all saw my Snapchat. It was like little crazy dance ones I was doing with my sister's little emoji thing. So I explained to her why I was up that early. So he gets up, he goes to Home Depot, right? And he comes back home and he drops his huge, long 2x4, I think it was 6 feet long, in the middle of my living room with a handsaw. I said, wait a minute. What you about to do with this handsaw? Hey, well, did I miss somebody, Kane? Hello. My nephew is cute. So funny. Y'all, just listen to my story. I'm telling y'all. So, no clue about who you are, and I have no intent to stay, but I wanted to assure you chronic catch up. I'm good. I'm all good. I'm in. But I got the story from this weekend. And so when he dropped this big old piece of wood in the middle of my floor with a handsaw, I said, "What are you about to do with that?" He said, "Well, I'm about to cut it." I said, "Inside of my house?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "No, you not." He's like, "We got wood floors. You could just take it outside." I said, "What if that's all slip and you cut my new floor?" I said, "I'm not having it. Take that back outside." I said, "Cut it on the lawn, on the porch. What do you call that? The porch furniture. Because it's wrought iron." I said, "Cut it out there. Don't cut that in the house. Then I have to clean up all the wood chips." I said, "No, go do that outside." And I already got to clean up all the drywall stuff. Because he prepares stuff he don't clean up. I have to clean it up. I was like, this man gonna make me hurt him this morning, y'all. I was like, if you don't take that outside, okay, babe, okay. So he takes it outside and he cuts it. He bring it back in. He sticks it in there, and like I said, because the way he measured it, there was still drywall. He put the measuring tape up there to where that piece of wood was. There was still this much drywall. And I was like, well, you measured it past the drywall, babe. You're gonna have to cut a notch of the drywall out. He was like, "Oh yeah, huh?" I was like, "Oh Lord Jesus, help me, please." I'm like, "Lord, please help me, please." And I was like, "Yes, honey, you're gonna have to cut out a notch in that because it's not gonna fit." So y'all, here's the hole, and then can y'all see the notch right there? He had to cut the notch out right there. Y'all, when I tell y'all, this man, so he sticks it in there and something was wrong. So I don't know what it was, and he pulled it out, and when he pulled it out, he snatched out the bottom part of the wall. Y'all see that? My mind just went boom, and I was like, oh. I was just like, if he was gonna do that, you should have just cut off the whole drywall all the way down. So my head, oh my God, when I tell y'all my head, yeah, home repairs, yeah. My head just started boom, 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 boom. I didn't say nothing. I just stood back and I watched him. I didn't say nothing. He just snatched a whole nother hole in the wall. He stuck it in. Once he cut the notch, he stuck it in there, and something wasn't right for him. I don't know what it was. So he tried to turn it and pull it back out. And when he pulled, it pulled the wall out. Y'all, when I tell you, I said, "Ooh, I need to go sit down somewhere," because I was about to yell at him. I said, "Ooh, Mia," I said, "You need to." One of my girls from work, she waved at me. I said, "Well, you need to go sit down and let this man do what he gonna do, because you about to drive him crazy, and he about to drive you crazy." So he was trying to do something. I said, "I'm about to go sit down. You need anything?" He said, "No." I said, "You sure you don't need a hammer?" He said, "No, I don't need a hammer." So he hitting a piece of wood, because, you got to have it in there tight, right? Oh, he had to put a anchor on it. That's what it was. He stuck the wood in there before he put an anchor on it. So he pulled it out to put the silver anchor on it and drill it to the piece of wood that was at the top. So that's why he broke, he broke the bottom drywall. So I said, "You don't need a hammer." He kept telling me no. I said, "Okay, I'm going to go sit down." So I go sit down, and he was like, babe. I was like, "Yes, James. Where my hammer?" When I tell y'all he don't listen to me, I don't know why this man think that I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't understand why this man don't think that I can do anything dealing with construction. I have my own house. I've put drywall up. I've plastered. I've done all this in my life. It might not be a licensed contractor, but I know how to do some things. Especially when it comes to the house, I know how to do plumbing. I know how to do some things since I have my own house. I just shook my head, and I was just like, okay. let me get this man his hammer. Now, I knew he needed a hammer because he's hitting the piece of wood, you know, and it's snug. And at the bottom, because it was longer down there, there's no way for him to get his big hand in there. He needed a hammer to knock, like knock it in there. Boy, when I tell y'all, this man, you need to add a tool shelf to the... Oh my God, Lola, James just drove me crazy. So he finally got the piece of wood in there. He put the plaster back in there. I mean, the piece of drywall. He put the piece of drywall in there, and then let me see. And then he put the what you call it? He put... Look at the floor. Look at all the stuff on the floor. I had to clean all that up off the floor. Can y'all see that? I don't know if... Oh, and then he put the piece of back in the wall, drilled a hole in there, and he put the little piece, the little... Y'all see the wood I was talking about? See the little wood up in there? Wait, where is it at? The wood in there? He had measured up to there, and then it wouldn't... piece of wood wouldn't go, so he had to cut that out so he could get the 2x4 in there. Y'all, I'm telling you, this is my whole Saturday morning. Saturday mornings I usually like to clean up my house anywhere, but this was just like to the next level. So I had to do 2 loads of laundry because one, when the shelf fell, all my towels fell on the ground, plus my I bought this big tub of gel because it was like 2 buy one get one free, so I have enough gel for like 4 years. But I don't put the top on tight, so when the shelf fell, the gel went everywhere and it just got all over my towels, and I was just like, So I had to wash all the towels in the bathroom. No, I didn't use a vacuum. I just cleaned it up with a towel, and then I used my Swiffer mop because I had to get all the big pieces. I swept up all the big pieces, then I wiped it all up because it's like chalky. I wiped it all up with a warm, wet towel, and then I used my Swiffer mop and cleaned it. It looked like a mouse house door. Lola, it was just too much. It was too much for my brain. You know what I'm saying? It was just too much. Me watching him dealing with this, it was just too much. And then me personally, I would have stuck it up there with some glue, like the little piece. But he drilled a piece of, what is it, a nail in there. He put the nail in there. So this is what the end result was. Okay, this still hanging out there. So he put it back together, y'all. And then he went ahead and plastered it. He put the plaster on there, made it look... I mean, he did a good job. He did a good job. It was just very agonizing watching the whole process. You feel what I'm saying? It was like very agonizing watching this whole process. And I was like, oh, this man gonna make me hurt. He gonna make me hurt. And then I don't know why he drew a line going all the way down. Like, why did you draw on the wall like that? Like, why? Why come? When you only were using this portion of the wall, why did you draw a line all the way down? And he was like, I was just measuring it. Measuring where the 2x4 was. But you just put a red line all the way down the line. I said, oh. I just left him alone, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I left him alone. So then I got my racks back. See, the one in the corner, this one was in a 2x4, so it didn't budge. This one was the one that wasn't in a 2x4. So now it's in a 2x4, and we measured it, make sure it was even with the other one, and we were good to go. Y'all, when I tell you, look at all that stuff. I had to clean up all this stuff. When he was done, he went and took a nap. So I'll wait for you so you can make us some breakfast. I said, you're going to be waiting a long time. I got to clean this up. Y'all, when I tell you. See, Lola, I got a towel, and I just wiped it all up first. Woo! And then I was able to get my shelving back together. That's the process. I was putting it back together, y'all. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff that I have on my shelves, and they just fell all over the floor. So it took me all day to get my stuff back in order. And then we had to get dressed and go to the fight. So I was going to do my hair. I've been trying to do my hair all weekend. It just didn't happen. Because once the drywall stuff was on the wall, I had to wait. He said it was quick dry, but I kept going in there and tapping it. It wasn't dry. So I wasn't putting my stuff back on the shelf until it dried. So it took probably like 2 hours for it to dry. So in that time, I'm cooking us something to eat. I'm cleaning the kitchen. Then I got my clothes out to what I want to wear to the fight, because we were leaving early. We were leaving at 3 because it was in Pomona. We were having dinner with our friends that we were going to the fight with at a restaurant before the fight. So we had to meet them at 4. When I tell y'all, it was that. Now that was just what I say. That was just Saturday. That was just Saturday. So this is my dinner I got at the place. It was called what was the name of that place? El Felipe? El something in downtown Pomona. But their burritos was big, but what I did not, when you try a new restaurant, they give you beans and rice on your plate. Why they put beans and rice in my burrito? I wanted a shredded beef burrito. They put beans and rice in my burrito. I got more beans and rice than anything. I paid $19.99 for beans and rice. Because that's all that was really in there. It was nothing but beans and rice. Beans and rice. Oh, and they put onions on the inside of the burrito. I was like, what is this? Why did they put so much beans and rice in here when they put beans and rice on the doggone plate? It didn't make sense to me. But yeah, that's what we had. And then we went to the boxing matches. So I got a video up now. I just was able to put it up just right now. And I'm doing a little commentating for y'all, because I have a longer video that I'm going to put up later. But about Terry the Terrible. Terry the Terrible is the boxer that we go to see, because he's a native of San Bernardino, California. And that's where we live at. So, this is us. Look how cute we look going to the fight. So, we get there, and like all the fights this time, like the last fight night we went to, like 3 of the fights weren't good at all. It was like, what is this? And last night the matchups were perfect. Like, there was really good boxing. The guys were very animated in their boxing. They were just really, they performed really, really well last night. So that was a plus. So we've seen Terry. This is our 3rd fight we've seen Terry in. The first fight Terry had that we saw, it went one full round. And then I think like 3 seconds in the second round, and it was done. The second fight we saw with Terry, it went a full round. And right at the end, the young man was like, I'm not coming back. It was supposed to be 6 rounds of boxing. He was like, I'm done. The boxer himself, he not his corner, not nobody else. The boxer himself was like, I'm done. I was like, oh, he must have hit him so hard. He was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. So Saturday night, the young man, he was boxing. I thought he was doing okay, but I do agree that Terry was whooping up on this young man. But I think the young man was trying his best to fight back, but he kept swinging and hitting air. So, like when you swing, you try to hit somebody and you just hit air. majority of the swings that he was doing, it was air. So, like, it was like 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I think each round is 3 minutes or something like that. At 2 minutes and 40 seconds, the ref stepped in and was like, nope, that's it. Another knockout. I guess because the boy wasn't fighting back and he was just letting Terry hit him. I don't know, but he stopped the fight. He stopped it. He was like, nope. So we haven't seen Terry go the distance yet. We get dressed. We go see this boy. We go see this young man fight. And he has been knocking folks out, y'all. And he a little bitty thing. But he got power. He got power in his punches. It's 7:30 a.m. PT. He had to go home and build a while. But yeah, that's how it was. And then, so we got home, and my girl, she was like, make sure you text me and let me know you got home safe. And I was like, okay. I forgot all about texting her. When we got home, we got some ice cream with some pecans. And we ate our ice cream and passed out on the couch. Me and James both. It was past our bedtime, y'all. We used to go into bed like at 9:30, 10 o'clock. We didn't get home till 11. So it was past our bedtime. So when I woke up in the morning, I said, "Ooh, I'm so sorry." I seen a text message from her. She said, "Now I know y'all got home before us, because they stayed and they said that they were gonna have some soup and some drinks at the restaurant that we had already ate at after the fight." And so she was like, "I know y'all got home before we did." And I was like, "Ooh, I'm so sorry." So I texted her that morning. So Sunday morning, I got up. And I was getting dressed to go to church. No, I got up and I was like, it's going to be a long day today. And usually I get so hungry at 2 o'clock when church is over that, I start eating junk food until I can get home. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to go get some breakfast. So I was like, James, I'm going to go to the store because we don't got no more eggs, because on Saturday morning, we only had 2 eggs left. So I went to the store. When I tell y'all, I hate going to the grocery store now. Believe me, when I tell you, I hate going to the grocery store now. I bought eggs, beef bacon, a box of Intimate donuts, because all the other donuts were expensive. And the Intimates were on sale for $4.99. But I remember we used to get 2 boxes for $5. But they were $4.99. I got 4 things of cranberry juice. I got some broccoli. And I got some steak for dinner. So I got breakfast and dinner. Did I get anything else? No, that's it. That's all I got. Y'all guess how much it costs? Beautiful fingers. Thank you. Hi, Eric. Thank you. Y'all, $75. $75. Oh, I bought strawberries and bananas too. That's right. Because I got strawberries for lunch. $75 though. Back in the day, I washed my bag and now it's all wrinkled. Back in the day, So here is part of my steak. I got my steak and potato, like half of my steak and the potato with some cheese for lunch. Because only I ate half of the baked potato and like half my steak, so I brought the other half for lunch for today. And then I got me some strawberries. So yeah, that's what $75 gets you these days. I still forgot to order that doggone screen, huh? So that bag is all messed up. So I got my new bag, my new Sister Soul bag. So I'm gonna put the wrinkle bag inside of here, because in here are my shoes, and I'm gonna keep it at my desk at work. Yeah, it's okay, because I have my food in the container and it's in another bag. I can put it in the same bag with my shoes. Don't be complaining. So, yeah. So, once I got home from church, well, after church, during church, one of the ladies said, "Are you going to go with us to dinner for Ed's birthday?" So it was one of the seniors in a church. And I was like, "Oh, Mom," I was like, "I'll take you." I said, "But I don't want to eat." I said, "Because I already have my dinner planned out. And I'm ready for my dinner." I said, "We're going to have baked potato, a broccoli, and steak for dinner." I said, "And that's what I want." I'm not about to pay Golden Corral's $39.99 or $49.99 all you can eat when I know I'm not going to go in there and eat. And then she was like, "Okay." She said, "Well, I really don't want to eat either. So let's just go and give him his birthday card and then we can go home." And I said, "Okay." So we went to show our face and, tell him happy birthday. And then I took my mama. She said she wanted Tina's. So I took my mama to Tina's. She got her food and I took her home. And then I went home and I started cooking our dinner. So, yeah. After I finished cooking dinner, I was like, there was something on the portal, with my new hire stuff that I needed to do. I go on this portal and y'all, it's modules. It's all modules of training that I need to do. And one of the modules was due yesterday on the 27th. And this is the first time since I've been hired, which was on the 17th, that I decided to go on this website to see what they were talking about because I know orientation is going to be on Thursday. Y'all, I was supposed to do this stuff days ago. So I had to go in there and do all this stuff. And it took me a while because it was a lot of reading. And I kept falling asleep. I'm telling you, reading, if it's not like stimulating to my brain, it makes me go to sleep. Yeah, oopsies. So I was up off and on until 1 o'clock in the morning until I got it done. You look like a lawyer. I do. I'm not no lawyer. No. But yeah, it took me a while. I fell asleep for like an hour, woke back up, tried to finish some more of the modules. Then I think that was like at 11. Then I went back to sleep. I went back to sleep and woke up again like at 12, and then I finished it. It was just a lot. Moon Shadow song. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button because we're trying to get to 5,000 organically. Let me say good morning to Ghost Nancy T. Let me say good morning to David Carlo. And let me say good morning to Sammy P and his nurses. So I'm about to go because I have to get myself to work, but I do want to give you your morning song. So good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, Panda Pod family. Good morning to you. I love y'all. Y'all know I do. But you sure do represent me. What am I representing? Thank you. Miss Lola, I try my best. Is there a show? No, there is no show tonight. Like I said, I have all these modules I have to do. Some are due today. One was due yesterday. I have like 2 that are due today. So I have a lot of reading I have to do when I get home tonight. So no, I can't do a show tonight. But it's coming. It's coming. We are at 4,658. So from last week, from 4,640, we have gained 18 new followers or subscribers. So thank you. Now we're doing this organically. This is all us. So I thank you so much for all of my new subscribers. Make sure you come back, hang out, send out love and positivity, and always be motivated to smile. Be happy. Just be happy in the world, y'all. Be happy. I know there's a lot going on in this world right now, but the only thing we don't have to pay for is a smile. I'll give you one for free. So please, just spread kindness, love, and joy, y'all. This your girl, Mia's Coins. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Hi, Nettie.